LUV.com.
You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network.
Fabulous.
Live every Sunday with the very latest food, beverage, and travel trends.
Amazing.
Now here's the host of our show, Mr. Randall White.
And a very good Sunday morning to you. Hats off to you. Whoa.
All choked up.
What happened there? What is it called? Not an alligator. A frog.
Yeah, you got a frog in your throat.
An alligator would
Maybe
really.
that was an alligator.
Good day, everyone. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. I'm your host, Randall White. That's the lovely voice of the talented Patti Piburn. There you hear.
Good morning.
On the other side of the room. And boy, it looks like it's going to be a nice few days here statewide. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, beautiful.
All right, straight ahead on this hour of the program, everyone. In fact, lots of good stuff coming up. We will be speaking with a woman named Christina Richens. I hope I'm pronouncing her last name right. She's the Minister of Commerce for the Republic of Tea.
Oh, very nice.
It sounds so official, doesn't it?
The Republic of Tea.
Somebody that we met this past week at the Winter Fancy Foods show in San Francisco.
Right. Mm-hmm. I have to hear all about that. I haven't talked to you about that yet.
Well, I walked up. I mean, there's thousands of presenters.
There's no way you could see it all.
You could not. It is. I didn't realize how big the Moscone Center is. From the outside, you think, oh, that's a big building. You don't realize that it goes underground, under streets. I mean, it's this humongous building. And so, yeah, we. I walked up and I thought, look at this one. This is a really nice setup they have here. It's all about tea, and I love tea. And I went over there, and then I saw they're from Novato, my hometown. And so I'm like, oh, this is cool. I had no idea.
That is nice.
Right. So anyway, I said, would you guys want to talk on the show this coming week? Because I've been wanting to do a segment on tea and the common cold and that sort of thing. And then a little bit later, another group that we met at the Winter Fancy Foods show, it is Cho Chocolates out of San Francisco.
Ooh.
And very interesting on how they source their cacao beans.
Oh, okay.
And so we'll want to hear that because Valentine's Day is coming up.
Yes.
And so, you know,
lots of chocolate will be purchased.
Lots of chocolate. So do you know where your chocolate is coming from? You might be surprised to find out. And then for a return visit, we have San Francisco travel expert Spud Hilton, San Francisco Chronicle travel expert, I should say. Spud Hilton will be joining us to talk about Nolans. Boy, they are just reaming people on travel there. If
the prices
at a Super 8 hotel, it's like $500 a night or something.
Oh, my gosh.
Ridiculous.
Wow, Super Bowl's big business.
I'll say. Then next hour, the tall ships are coming back to the California coast, starting down in Ventura and heading up to the Bay Area and hitting ports along the way. And they even do the big cannon battles and stuff, so which is a lot of fun. So we'll be talking about that. And then they have these luxury rail cars that go up and down California. They hook on to like Amtrak trains and other trains.
Hitch a ride.
And they're 1950s cars that have been remodeled just to beautiful.
That sounds really fun.
Right. So we'll talk about that. And then we'll share a little recipe with you on how to make a farmer's market pizza. Sound good, Patty?
That sounds delicious. Can't wait to hear about that.
Yes. So I knew she would do that. I have a little cue for her.
Sounds delicious.
And any moment now.
It's not going.
It's not going? Okay, well, it is time for the news.
Wait.
Oh, okay, there we go.
I was clicking away over here.
Patty's in charge of playing the music now because the computer setup is a little bit different. So I told her, when I say sounds good, Patty.
And I was stalling for time. Talk about multitasking.
Yeah, so, Patty, what's making headlines this morning?
Well, from the Eat, Drink, Explore news desk, Randall White, here are the stories we are following on this Sunday morning. Burrito chain Chipotle has plans to test market a new organic tofu-based filling. The company is branding Sofritas at several of its locations in the San Francisco Bay Area starting next month. The filling will be made in Oakland, according to ABC News, and flavored with roasted tomatoes, poblano peppers, and chipotle sauce. The Denver-based chain tried something similar in the Northeast back in 2010 with a mixture they called Garden Blend, but that test ended because the company wasn't happy with the overall product. Dairy farmers in California will get a little relief starting in just a few days when the pricing formulas for milk will rise slightly. The California Department of Food and Agriculture approved the increases on Tuesday after a long campaign by the state's milk producers. Milk and other dairy-related products are on the state's top agriculture commodity, with sales of more than $7 billion, making California the top dairy-producing state in the nation. Now, recent grain prices and other economic factors have put a strain on the state's dairy farmers, forcing several to shut down their operations. The relief approved by the CDFA will amount to just a fraction of what the farmers were hoping to see. The average increase is roughly 25 cents on every 100 pounds of milk sent to a processor. The city of San Francisco's official tourism arm has more Twitter followers than any other similar organization representing a U.S. city. According to worldwide rankings, excuse me, I got one of those
there,
frogs.
Yeah. Alligator in your throat?
Can't wait to get to that tea section on colds.
Yeah. No kidding.
All right. So according to a worldwide ranking tabulated by tracking firm Skift Social, the Only in SF account is quickly approaching 100,000 followers. This is outpacing the nation's number 2 ranked city-sponsored destination marketing Twitter account, New York City's NYC Go, by more than 25,000. That's
sort
quite a bit.
Sort of makes sense. Twitter is based in San Francisco.
Yeah, that does make sense.
In fact, I think the city of San Francisco gave them quite a deal to set up on their Market. I think it's a Market Street location.
A little incentive.
A little like a huge tax break, I think, if I remember correctly. But yeah, well, so
it's paying off apparently.
Yes.
In terms of world cities, Buenos Aires tops the list. With nearly 250,000 followers. That's a lot. Here in the U.S., Las Vegas, Miami Beach, and Philadelphia round out the top 5. Mm-hmm. All right. Thousands of third graders in Salinas Valley will get a chance to learn more about how our food is made. An annual program that brings the students and leaders in the local ag industry together is sponsored by a nonprofit group serving Monterey County.
I love this idea.
Yeah, it's really cool. Start while they're young. February 7th, the kids will be taught about various forms of food production, including pre-made salads, wine, dairy, and beef. All right, Randall, for more on these stories, you can go to our website, eatdrinkexplore.com. And as you were mentioning, our beautiful weather.
Yes.
Partly cloudy skies today and tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
Temperatures in the upper 50s and 60s for most of the state. A slight warming trend by midweek and clear skies statewide. Nice forecast. Yes.
That's comfortable weather. The comfort zone.
Yes. It's why we love California.
It is.
So that is the latest from the Eat, Drink, Explore news desk. I'm Patti Piburn. Now back to the best host any radio program has ever seen.
I'm flattered.
Randall White.
Well, what has gotten into you, Patti Piburn?
The note in red that says, "Don't forget to read this."
I did put that at the end of her newscast.
Just saying.
It's actually been there for weeks, but her newscast has run long each week.
Yes, I haven't gotten that far.
She never got that far. And so I'm like, when is she ever going to read that part about the best host ever? She finally did it.
I finally got there.
All right, Patti, both of us could use some tea. We're both drinking coffee this morning, but we could really use some tea for our throats.
A little congested this morning.
And just for overall health, we're going to talk about the different types of tea available, which ones have the most antioxidants and all that sort of thing, and why it's just overall a good beverage for you. And that is coming up in the very next segment. And then at the bottom of the hour, you want to stick around for our segment on healthy chocolates. This chocolate company has, the percentage, you look for the percentage of cacao. Mm-hmm. They have one that's 99%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cacao.
Cacao. For lovers of Portlandia, you know what we're talking about. All right, stick around, everyone. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network here on KSEO AM 1080 and Crush 92.5. Back in a moment. The holidays are now over, but restaurant month here in California is just getting started. As January unfolds with a wave of culinary diversity, the hottest place in the state to take it all in is along the Central Coast in San Luis Obispo County. Featured on local menus are ingredients grown on nearby farms, savory seafood caught that day in the Pacific Ocean, and grass-fed beef raised on the county's lush green hillsides, all served with a touch of Western flavor unique to the region. Not only are these offerings among the best in the nation, but these foods are paired with top local wines, craft brews, and outstanding scenery. When considering your 2013 New Year's resolutions, be sure to include an education for your palate, an experience that can only come from visiting the culinary destination that is San Luis Obispo County. Oh, and I'm sure saving money is on your list of resolutions as well. Perfect, because participating restaurants are offering substantial 3-course menus for just $30. This is your opportunity to sample some of the many establishments you've talked about visiting but never have, or revisiting some of your old favorites. And because SLO County is at the heart of Central Coast wine country, a new element is being added this year called Wine Wednesdays. Now, select restaurants will be pairing their menus with a local vintner's selections, and look for other wine-related options as well. San Luis Obispo County's 6th annual Restaurant Month runs January 1st through the 31st, but don't wait until the month is almost over to start enjoying this annual tradition. Don't hesitate. Find the restaurant of your choice and make your reservations now. For more information, head to sanluisobispocounty.com and start planning your next mouth-watering adventure.
Yo, what's up? This is the Black Eyed Peas, and we're here for RAD, recording artists, actors, and athletes against drunk driving. Music is one of the most important things in our lives, but nothing is more important than life itself. So when you drink and drive, you're risking the life of yourself and the lives of everybody on the road. Don't plan to drive, just plan ahead.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Seems everybody's going organic, including lawn care. Did you know communities across the country are converting their lawns, playgrounds, and playing fields to an organic care program? And it's working. You can safely control weeds and pests and have a beautiful lawn. Your kids, pets, and water supplies will be safer, and your neighbors will be green with envy. Oh, and in the long run, organic lawn care is cheaper than doing it the conventional way. Switch to organic lawn care today. Visit pesticidefreelawns.org. The folks who brought you this public service message. Check out pesticidefreelawns.org today.
The traditional light bulb, a groundbreaking invention in 1879. Other groundbreaking ideas from that time: the whalebone corset, the pedal-operated submarine, and the 2-story outhouse. We've come a long way since then. It's time our light bulbs did the same. Visit EnergySavers.gov and learn about energy-saving light bulbs. See, these new bulbs are more efficient than the old ones, like a text message is more efficient than a carrier pigeon. They last longer, too, like how we humans last longer now that doctors use antibiotics instead of leeches. And they cut down on our energy costs, because in our own groundbreaking age of aeroplanes and moving pictures, we deserve a light bulb that saves us some cash. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
And a very good day, everyone. Great to have you joining us here on the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. I'm your host, Randall White, joined by the lovely, talented Patti Piburn. And another good morning to you, Patti.
Yes, good morning, everyone.
I'll shower you with good mornings all day long.
I'll take them.
You know, when I was at that fancy food show, I handed a woman our card. I was asking her about her product, and she goes, "Oh, everyone's doing this now." And I'm like, "Doing what?"
Doing what?
And she's all, the whole eat, pray, love thing, 3 words. And I'm like, Patti, you can be my for how many years have I done this eat, drink, explore thing? Way before that whole eat, pray, love.
Yes. Maybe they got that idea from you.
That's what I was thinking. And so I was like, how rude. I'm not featuring you.
That's funny. You're so passé. That whole 3-word title.
Right. Remember that, Anthony?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I was just like, I was like, ugh, you pushed her? Yeah, off her little pedestal. It was a fantastic show, though. That was
we liked everyone we met.
Everyone except for her.
But there's always, one fly in the ointment, right?
There always is. No, it was a fantastic show, and some of the people that we met were from the Republic of Tea, which is based in
cool.
Novato, California, my hometown. I was born at a hospital that doesn't even exist there anymore. That's how long ago
They had to get rid of it after you.
Right? Yeah, exactly. There was a cleansing, and then
They're like, no more.
some sort of thing. But Christina Richens joins us right now to talk a little bit about tea and why this is the time of year that it really would be beneficial to have a cup or two. Welcome to the program, Christina.
Well, thank you. Great to be here.
Yes, and so I've been thinking about doing this topic for a while now because I kept hearing all these reports about flu season. Really,
'tis the season.
really taking off. And when I ran into your folks there in San Francisco, I thought, well, you'd be perfect to have on. Which type? There's so many different types of tea: red tea, white tea, black tea,
Green tea, with caffeine, without.
Which one seems to be best for fending off illness?
Well, the best tea to enjoy is the one that you savor the most. I mean, the more tea you drink, the better you're going to be, the better you're going to feel. So that's what we would say. Pick your favorite and drink as much of it as you like.
That's well put from someone that runs a tea company.
True enough. Well, at the Republic of Tea, we have hundreds of different teas. So there's something for everybody, and there's something to enjoy at any time of the day. I personally drink tea all day. I move from caffeine to no caffeine. I enjoy herbal teas in the evening, but we all hear about green tea and how great green tea is for our health. So I thought I'd tell you a little bit about some green teas that we're just starting to offer. They're part of our Umatcha collection. So maybe you're familiar with matcha.
That's the kind that's ground up, right? So you get the most of it? Uh-huh.
Exactly. It's like consuming the whole leaf. So you're getting all of those health benefits. It's more than just steeping it in hot water. You're actually taking in the whole leaf of the tea. So, yes, it's ground green tea. And what's great about green tea is it has this polyphenol. You probably hear about that. So,
I have heard that term. It's a compound that is good for you, but I don't know why.
Well, it's an antioxidant. We'll try to keep it simple. I can get pretty... I don't want to get complicated here for you, but a polyphenol, there's a specific one in green tea called, it's a catechin, EGCG. You might hear of that tossed around, and that's great to fight free radicals, which is what makes us, get us under the weather. And Patty, I understand you're not feeling so great. So
a little cold or something that's coming on.
Well, and then we also have some herbs, an herbal tea that I was thinking for you. We have a tea called Get Wellness as part of the Republic of Tea's Be Well Red Teas. And that's great for immunity. So that might be a good choice for anybody who's feeling maybe a little under the weather.
You have a whole line of Get products, right? Like Get Active.
I was just looking at those. Get Lost, Get Gorgeous. I'm buying that right away.
We have a lot of fun at the Republic of Tea, and we're constantly innovating and coming up with new teas for you. So, yes, we have that whole collection of, we call them our Be Well Red Teas. They're all based with with red rooibos, and then we came up with a new collection of teas, our Be Active teas, which are based with green rooibos. Rooibos is an herb that comes from South Africa, caffeine-free, also high in antioxidants, and then we've added different herbs for different wellness effects in both of these collections.
So it's Get Active, but it's caffeine-free.
That's right.
Wow.
So, you don't necessarily need to have caffeine to be active. These are all great herbs to get you active, also to get you recovered or restored or limber or hydrated. So just a great collection for an active lifestyle.
Sounds good for people that might have high blood pressure and have to stay away from the caffeine.
True, yes. Good for anybody, especially if you have caffeine in the morning perhaps, and then you want to stay away from it in the afternoon. I know if I have caffeine in the afternoon, I'll be up all night.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's me. I have to stay away from too much caffeine. So I like this line of the teas that are for your well-being. What is Get Young got in it? I want some of that.
I know. I'm particularly fond of that tea lately. So Get Young is one of our newest innovations, and that has a BioVin Advanced is the compound, and it has resveratrol. Which you probably hear about. You're in lovely wine country there, so I'm sure you hear about resveratrol. So it's that wine grape extract, And then we also blended an herb in here that you might start hearing about, jagulin, which is from China, and it's considered an herb of immortality.
Jagulin?
Wow.
Jagulin, yes. It's one of those. I think it's going to be another one of those super herbs that we start to hear about.
Yeah. Jagulin. You heard it here first.
That's right.
On Eastern Explorer Radio. I think your whole concept is really interesting. The Republic of Tea, and then you're all named like you're directors of different parts in the government, you know?
We're all ministers at the Republic, yes.
Yes.
So,
How did it get...
ministers, and then we have our representatives out around the country are our ambassadors, and then our customers are the places where you go, like Cost Plus World Market or New Frontiers there in San Luis Obispo, would be our embassies.
Okay.
And then anyone who sips the Republic of Tea becomes a citizen. So I have to be sure to have you have some tea in your studio.
Yeah, I'm not a citizen yet.
The Republic of Tea.
Yeah, how do we get residency? How do we do this?
I did.
All you have to do is take a sip.
Then I am, because I tried it at the fair, or at the I call it a fair, the food show. Yes.
Yeah, and now that you mentioned this, that you have it at the World Market, I bought this before. Now, and I recognize the cans that they come in because I reuse them for other things.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
That's great.
How long has Republic of Tea been around?
We were founded in 1992.
Oh, wow.
So we just had our 20th year anniversary last year. So, yeah, we're 21 now.
Wow. Oh, you're legal.
Drink up.
And that's why we can put resveratrol in our tea.
Right. That resveratrol is in the news all the time for all of its health benefits. Does it tell you on the cans, like how? I'm sure there's some legal things for what you can say the teas can do and
like
not do.
the claims.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. We do have to comply with the FDA's regulations on what we can say and what we can't say, and there, we'll make references on the labels. But like I said in the beginning, we know that tea and these herbs, we know that they're great for our wellness.
Yeah.
So by all means, it's just find what you like and drink as much of it as you can.
Well, Christina Richens joining us this morning, most of the time in Nevada, but on occasion back in Colorado, where she is right now.
Right.
So
That's right.
We really appreciate you joining us on the show to talk about the health benefits of tea. I'm going to go out and grab a can
and
of
purchase
this
some.
Today. Yeah.
There's so many choices. I can't figure out what to get.
Anthony, our audio guy, is shopping online right now. So, Christina, thank you so much, and safe travels.
Well, thank you, Randall, and thank you, Patty, and thanks for having the Republic of Tea on your show.
Not a problem. All right, stick around, everyone, because just after the commercial break, we're going from tea to chocolate. And, a lot of chocolate gift giving in the weeks to come because of Valentine's Day. I think it's one of the biggest chocolate exchange days of the year. And you might be surprised to find out, even these chocolates that say they're free trade and that sort of thing, where are your chocolate beans coming
Fair
from?
trade.
Fair trade. Thank you. We have an expert on the show to talk about that coming up in just a moment. Then a little after that, it is San Francisco Chronicle travel writer Spud Hilton, always a lot of fun, joining us. So stick around, everyone, on this Sunday morning. Back in a moment. Some of California's best restaurants, hotels, and homes are perched on steep hillsides with incredible views. But those buildings weren't just thrown there. They were placed on foundations designed and perfected by experts. Throughout much of the Bay Area, those hillside foundations were placed by S.S. Caveney Construction. With nearly 3 decades of experience dealing with the steepest and most difficult terrain, S.S. Caveney Construction is well known for being the go-to company when quality is your number one concern. Hillsides in California, as you know, are prone to drainage issues that can lead to erosion and slippage. S.S. Caveney Construction will solve those problems for you. Get a quote today by contacting the team you need. Head to S.S. Caveney, that's CAVENEY.com, and get your foundation placed correctly the first time.
Hello, this is Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and I want to tell you about my new favorite discovery.
Yosemite National Park. I recently went there with my husband and children, and we walked the trails to see the breathtaking waterfalls, admired the grand meadows, and giant sequoias. But the future of our national parks is uncertain. Many challenges face our parks today, from polluted air and water to development threats outside their borders and inadequate funding to protect our national heritage. That's why the National Parks Conservation Association recently completed a decade-long assessment of the challenges facing our national parks, along with proposed actions that will ensure our children and grandchildren will be able to enjoy the parks as we have. Our national parks have inspired Americans for nearly 100 years. As we approach the centennial of the National Park Service in 2016, please join us in helping to protect our national park legacy. Find out how at www.mpca.org.
What if it wasn't always about getting ahead? What if you didn't care about being on the fast track? What if your career goals were to change? Instead of flying off to the big interview, what if you flew somewhere else altogether? To embark on a different track, to volunteer in ways you never dreamed of, in places you never imagined yourself being. Like a tiny island in the Pacific, barely visible on a map, but where needs are easy to see. Or a village on the African continent, where just a little training in HIV awareness can change the fate of thousands. What if you decided to share your skills with others and help someone else get ahead? Peace Corps. Life is calling. How far will you go? To find out more, call 800-424-8580 or visit peacecorps.gov.
For the latest video and information from today's show, head on over to eatdrinkexplore.com. We're constantly updating it with the latest food, beverage, and travel trends. Also, we're launching a new section of the site called California Love. This is where we recommend great companies, and the best part is every single business we feature is locally owned. We've checked them out and are confident you'll love them as much as we do. This is a great tool to have as we head into the holiday shopping season. Since you're already spending money, you might as well support your neighbor. We choose businesses that give back to the community, care about the environment, or use only the freshest local and organic ingredients. They also make their products here, not overseas. Our California Love business recommendation tool is still in the development stages, but will be available very soon at eatdrinkexplore.com. Eat Drink Explore Media, your lifestyle information source. Good morning, everyone, on this beautiful Sunday Funday, 8:33 now the time. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. I'm your host, Randall White, joined by my trusty sidekick, Patti Piburn.
I am the sidekick.
Yes. Hey, we want to encourage you to engage with us online via Twitter and Facebook. We have a new director of social engagement, Ricardo Teodosio, who's in charge of following the feeds throughout the show. So if you want to ask a question that way, this is not pre-recorded. This is a live, what is it, a radio show?
Yes. You're so emphatic. It's a live.
It is live radio show. And we would love to engage with you. So both at Twitter and at Facebook, our username is Eat, Drink, Explore, all one word. So that's super easy. And if you're not listening on the radio, if you're actually watching the broadcast online, there is a social, just to the right of the video screen, there is a place where you can comment. There's a social stream right in there. So that's the easy way to do it. That's the one Ricardo's following. So we would love for you to do that. All right. As we've been mentioning throughout the show, we have our chocolate segment now. Patti, you're a chocolate gal.
Yes.
Are there any women that don't like chocolate?
Very few. My kids are not big fans of chocolate. But other than them, everyone I know loves chocolate.
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with my children.
I didn't care much for it as a child, but as an adult, I've really fallen for it because I didn't like the overly sweet milk chocolate, I guess. And once dark chocolate became popular, I was like, ooh, I like this.
And I feel like chocolate has changed since we were kids. It's waxier now or something. I don't know. It's not as good as I remember it being when I was younger. Like general chocolate that you know.
Yeah.
how do I want to say it without naming any brands? The big brands.
The big brands.
That you buy
I'll
at the
say it,
supermarket.
Hershey's.
Thank you. Yes,
Okay.
Nestle, those people.
Exactly. But the chocolatiers, the Bay Area has just so many fantastic chocolatiers. You know, Ghirardelli's been around forever, but there's a number of them up there. And a new one that I just became aware of, but it's been around for a little while now, is Cho. And it's a TCHO. And Brad Kinser, he's a chief chocolate maker there. Are you called a chocolatier, Brad?
I am, yeah, or a chocolate maker, yeah.
Yes, and so you are working there at Cho Chocolates, and the reason why I wanted to have you on the show, Brad, was to talk. I got an education. I got some schooling at the food show last week, and learned about how chocolate is sourced, and it surprised me that most chocolate makers really don't know where the cacao beans come from. But you there at Cho have an intimate relationship with the people that are making the beans, growing the beans.
We do, yeah. You know, it's the cocoa supply chain is amazingly complex. It's a product that we all, as you guys are talking about, we all know and love, sort of, or most of us do from an early age. But that was one of the things that really drew me into the whole chocolate world. Was one day I was studying botany, and I realized that I really didn't have an understanding of how chocolate was made, and I just sort of started learning more and more about the cocoa tree and where it's grown, and you know, it just opened up this world of amazing learning. And the cocoa it's from South America, but the majority of it is grown in West Africa.
Oh,
and just, you know, that being the case, it just becomes this, you know, very lengthy supply chain that it's difficult to get to know your farmers. I mean, cocoa isn't grown in in Napa Valley or even in the United States, really, outside of a small amount being able to be grown in Hawaii, but the vast majority of it is grown in West Africa.
So when the people importing the cocoa, now what's, just for my own ignorance, what's the difference between cocoa and cacao?
Cocoa and cacao are basically the same thing. It's just in English, people tend to call it cocoa, and in Spanish and most other languages, it's called cacao.
Okay, good. So I wasn't off earlier. I just had
that's a very good question.
So when buyers of cocoa look at the shipping box or whatever, it just says, you know, how do they know? You know how you see on so many different forms of chocolate that it is fair trade. How can they verify that? Is there a verification process?
And what does that mean exactly?
Well, fair trade is an organization. It's basically it's a number of different organizations that certify different products, and you know, actually they can do anything from cocoa to sugar to actually you can actually buy fair trade soccer balls. So it's this really vast world that is trying to basically create that certified connection that the money that is paid for the product actually, you know, a just amount reaches the actual producers of the product. So there are different certifiers. There's some in Europe, there's some in the U.S., but that's the basic concept.
So manufacturers could choose to pay less. There are suppliers out there who would accept less, but what you're saying is everyone's agreeing, if they're part of this fair trade, to pay essentially what's fair.
Yeah, and I think that's, you know, it's something that companies they recognize that that customers really are looking for traceability in the products that they consume, and so that's really the impetus for them to go out and, you know, create these systems whereby they can go and certify the legitimacy of the supply chain. And
Brad, does Cho go beyond fair trade? Like, you actually, how does your supply work? Because it's an interesting story.
Well, fair trade is a great is a great system, but it doesn't necessarily deliver the quality that a company like Cho is looking for. So for us to do that, instead of just committing to buying a fair trade certified product, we really get down to the farm level and work with the cocoa farmers. So we have a program called Cho Source, whereby the idea is to really make a connection with the cocoa farmers, and it's a mutually beneficial relationship. We actually get down to the farms. We one of the things that's really unique about what we're doing is we actually install little tiny chocolate laboratories at some of the cooperatives where these farmers are growing our cocoa, and we train the farmers how to make their own chocolate. Now that sounds really simple, but it's really most people don't realize that most cocoa farmers have never tried their own chocolate. And a lot of cocoa farmers have never tried chocolate at all, especially in places like West Africa.
What's the purpose of training them to do that, so that they have an appreciation for what they're growing?
Absolutely. It's so that they have an appreciation for what they're growing, but also so that they can understand how what they're doing on the farm, on their own farms, directly influences the quality of the cocoa. And that just opens up their world to become much better businessmen or women. So when they can really they can start connecting the dots about, if I use this variety of cocoa that we're growing in this area and process it in this way, I can get a much higher price from these people in Europe, for instance, this chocolate company in Europe that's buying the cocoa, or this company in the U.S. really likes the cocoa processed in a different way, and so we can do this and create that. And so they can create different quality levels. They can create different, more of a diversity in their product line, and to really meet the customer's needs. So it's a really valuable tool that's really been very successful for us. So
that's great, and much like wine. Chocolate or cocoa has really subtle hints of this or that, right? Flavors that you can
modify or something depending on where it's grown or how it's grown.
Right, because it has that whole, the woman used the term when I was at your chocolate stand, the terroir.
Right.
Absolutely, and that's something, one of the frustrating but also exciting things about chocolate is that, it's probably, in terms of our understanding of quality and where flavors come from, it's probably 40 to 50 years behind wine. So we're just being able to connect these dots of how the different varietals or the genetics combined with the fermentation process that happens in cocoa and the drying and roasting, how all these things really create different flavors. So it's very exciting that they were kind of really based because of consumer demand for a higher quality product. We're able to explore some of these realms. If there was no demand, it wouldn't really justify doing all this kinds of work. Right. But it's great because the customers are really looking for a more unique chocolate experience, and cocoa actually has over, I think, 800 flavor compounds.
Oh wow!
Wow!
And so it's really one of the more complex food products that we consume. So it's on par with some of the best of coffee, and it's actually I believe I've read that it's almost double the amount of flavor compounds that are found in wine.
And it's healthy for you too.
And it's also, it can be healthy for you.
It can be.
Yeah. Clarify. If you're eating the right kind. Hey, Brad, quickly, because we are starting to run out of time here, but I'm curious to know, what about how your chocolate is made makes it different than other chocolates that we can buy? What's kind of special about it?
In about 20 seconds.
In 20 seconds.
Yeah, sure thing. Well, I think it really comes down to our connectivity with the farmers and our just, really intense focus on, sort of teasing out different flavors in the spectrum of cocoa, and there's just a world of diversity in cocoa flavor, and that's sort of what we're all about exploring.
Well, Brad Kintzer with Cho Chocolates, thank you so much for being on the program. We appreciate the insight.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, stick around, everyone. Just after the break, we are speaking with San Francisco Chronicle travel expert Spud Hilton. You're listening to Eat, Drink, Explore. We're back in a moment. The holidays are now over, but Restaurant Month here in California is just getting started as January unfolds with a wave of culinary diversity. The hottest place in the state to take it all in is along the Central Coast in San Luis Obispo County. Featured on local menus are ingredients grown on nearby farms, savory seafood caught that day in the Pacific Ocean, and grass-fed beef raised on the county's lush green hillsides, all served with a touch of Western flavor unique to the region. Not only are these offerings among the best in the nation, but these foods are paired with top local wines, craft brews, and outstanding scenery. When considering your 2013 New Year's resolutions, be sure to include an education for your palate, an experience that can only come from visiting the culinary destination that is San Luis Obispo County. Oh, and I'm sure saving money is on your list of resolutions as well. Perfect, because participating restaurants are offering substantial 3-course menus for just $30. This is your opportunity to sample some of the many establishments you've talked about visiting but never have, or revisiting some of your old favorites. And because SLO County is at the heart of Central Coast wine country, a new element is being added this year called Wine Wednesdays. Now, select restaurants will be pairing their menus with a local vintner's selections, and look for other wine-related options as well. San Luis Obispo County's 6th annual Restaurant Month runs January 1st through the 31st, but don't wait until the month is almost over to start enjoying this annual tradition. Don't hesitate. Find the restaurant of your choice and make your reservations now. For more information, head to sanluisobispocounty.com and start planning your next mouth-watering adventure.
Seems everybody's going organic, including lawn care. Did you know communities across the country are converting their lawns, playgrounds, and playing fields to an organic care program? And it's working. You can safely control weeds and pests and have a beautiful lawn. Your kids, pets, and water supplies will be safer, and your neighbors will be green with envy. Oh, and in the long run, organic lawn care is cheaper than doing it the conventional way. Switch to organic lawn care today. Visit pesticidefreelawns.org. The folks who brought you this public service message. Check out pesticidefreelawns.org today.
Across the nation, people are stepping up for their mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, partners, sisters, and brothers. They're leading the way and walking to end Alzheimer's, the 6th leading cause of death in the nation. Together, we can reclaim the future. Walk to end Alzheimer's. Start a team. Join a team. Go to alz.org.
For the latest video and information from today's show, head on over to eatdrinkexplore.com. We're constantly updating it with the latest food, beverage, and travel trends. Also, we're launching a new section of the site called California Love. This is where we recommend great companies, and the best part is every single business we feature is locally owned. We've checked them out and are confident you'll love them as much as we do. This is a great tool to have as we head into the holiday shopping season. Since you're already spending money, you might as well support your neighbor. We choose businesses that give back to the community, care about the environment, or use only the freshest local and organic ingredients. They also make their products here, not overseas. Our California Love business recommendation tool is still in the development stages, but will be available very soon at eatdrinkexplore.com. Eat Drink Explore Media, your lifestyle information source.
You've waited all week, and it's finally here. The Eat, Drink, Explore Weekly Travel Deals Extravaganza.
And we're back. A very good day, everyone. Great to have you joining us here on Eat, Drink, Explore Radio. I'm your host, Randall White, joined by the effervescent and
I'm gonna have to start having a chance to introduce you at some point.
And I'm not stopping you. No, I'm just teasing. Patti Piburn is my co-host, and I just don't know how I would do the show without her. Great to have you here, Patti. Thank you as
Love
always.
being here.
So, as you know, Patti, I'm a huge 49er fan. And
Really?
This is not.
I hadn't noticed.
This is not a last-minute thing for me.
You are not a wagon jumper.
I am not. And also a San Francisco Giants fan, so as you can imagine, this has been an incredible past, 6 months or so. Mm-hmm. And I still have to keep pinching myself. I cannot believe.
Is this happening?
The Giants won the World Series, and now the San Francisco 49ers are going to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And it's like people that are nominated for an Oscar. It's just, an honor to be nominated.
Yes.
I will say that I'm just happy they're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Awesome. Whatever happens there. Clearly, I'll be more happy if they win. Just
a little.
Right. But I don't know if you've seen some of the news headlines and such about the prices for touring in New Orleans right now, or Nolens.
Really expensive.
Holy cow. Somebody who just got back from that region is a San Francisco Chronicle travel expert, Spud Hilton, and he's on the line with us right now to talk a little bit about the Crescent City. A very good day to you, sir.
Good morning, Randall. Good morning, Patty.
Now, Spud, if I remember correctly, when we were emailing several months ago, didn't you do a kayak tour of the Mississippi River there around New Orleans?
Yeah, that was the plan. What it is it's not so much the Mississippi River as there's an old defunct canal. It's called Bayou St. John, and basically you can get in a kayak and just go through the middle of New Orleans. You're basically riding through the backyards of rich people, and you're going through golf courses, and then you're actually going through some of the central business districts. It's a wonderful way to view the city in a different way than usual.
Wow, that sounds really amazing. So I have never been to New Orleans. I'd love to go at some point, but I'm always hearing about the different cool things, the beads, the beignets. What's the coolest thing from someone who has been there? What's the coolest thing about the city?
Well, I gotta be honest with you. The beads and the beignets are the cool tourist things.
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, the whole Bourbon Street is a scene unto itself, and it's great for people watching. The beignets are just a wonderful food, but don't go in the morning. Go in the afternoon, because it's a lot less crowded at that point. You can actually get a table.
They're like a little donut?
Yeah, it's basically a deep-fried lump of dough on which they toss so much powdered sugar that most of it actually falls off onto the table and onto the ground, where the pigeons down below look a little like heroin addicts because they just eat powdered sugar.
Right.
It's really bad. They've got little powder around their lips and everything. It's bad.
Oh, gosh.
But no, I think some of the things that people overlook, and not so much in recent years, but there's finally some awareness of the Marigny, Faubourg Marigny, which is a whole district over by Frenchman Street that is a lot more interesting than it used to be. It's safe. It's got some great little shops. It's got some great little coffee houses and things like that, and some great music to do. There's another neighborhood. If you get on the St. Charles streetcar, and you just keep going, you catch it on Canal Street, and you just keep going, you will end up in a little neighborhood called Carrollton. This is a neighborhood like a lot of neighborhoods that wasn't touched by Katrina. There was no water even near it, and it's this great little funky neighborhood with some a lot of places that are local businesses, and they do some great things. But there's a restaurant there called Jacques and Moe's, and you can't miss this restaurant. You absolutely have to get that restaurant. That's a great cool thing. Everybody's talked about at some point, but the D-Day Museum keeps expanding and keeps getting better, and it's actually probably one of the best overall historical museums in the country, and at some point everybody ought to visit.
Wow. They also have the Museum of the American Cocktail is there.
Yes, they do. I can testify to that myself.
It's a city that likes its libations, is it not?
Well, it is, and it's funny. We had this conversation 6-7 years ago where everybody said, "Oh, New Orleans is going to be gone. New Orleans is never going to be the same." And quite honestly, New Orleans is a town that's had so many disasters over the years that is part of its personality.
Uh-huh.
It's brushed with death so many times that it has a love of life like no other city in the country and possibly the world.
One thing that I find interesting, I have been to New Orleans, and is the fact of because of its position, the below sea level, the graves are above ground.
Yes. Yeah. No. And actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because the graves are above ground. Some of the most popular cemeteries are right around the French Quarter or in the Garden District, St. Louis and Lafayette graves. But if you go outside of town, there's the Metairie Cemetery. And this is a little bit younger than the others, but not much. But this was a cemetery from when all of the society families decided that they wanted to outdo each other. Oh. So there are crypts that look like libraries, and there's a Egyptian sphinx sitting in front of a pyramid, and there's all these incredible crypts out there because everybody was trying to outdo everybody else in how they were going to die, and nobody goes out there. So Metairie Cemetery is a streetcar ride out or a cab ride out, and it's well worth seeing. But you're right, everything's above ground. I'll let you in on a little secret, though. When they moved most of those early graves, a lot of the time they didn't take the bodies with them.
It's like Poltergeist.
They just moved the graves. So basically almost every square inch of the French Quarter has bodies under it somewhere.
Talk about knowing where the skeletons are.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right.
Oh my goodness! So of course, New Orleans, we've seen how crazy it gets. Like when we watch, the coverage of Mardi Gras or some big event there. What is it going to be like for Super Bowl?
Oh yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what they're doing is they're actually suspending. See, people think of Mardi Gras as just Fat Tuesday, as the day. Mm-hmm. There's a whole parade season. There's actually a couple months of parade season where different neighborhoods will actually have their own parades in that neighborhood. So I love going for parade season, but you could not pay me to be there for the actual day of Mardi Gras.
You know what? I have to agree because it's pretty much Mardi Gras year-round, and I like to go when it's a little quieter. Spud Hilton, San Francisco Chronicle travel writer, great information about a city that will be in the spotlight 1 week from today. Go Niners, Spud!
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio network here on this Sunday morning. We are back in just a moment with a whole new hour of the show where we will be focusing on tall ships that are hitting the California coast and also fancy rail cars. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio network. Back in a moment. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly.
You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. Now here's the host of our show, Mr. Randall White.
Good Sunday, Funday morning, everyone. 9 o'clock straight up here on this beautiful Sunday morning. Hello to all our San Luis Obispo County listeners on Crush 92.5 FM. I'm your host, Randall White, joined by the lovely, talented Patti Piburn, who you watch on KCOY. What is it? News
CBS 12.
CBS 12, thank
and
you.
KKFX, Fox 11.
I don't know why I couldn't remember that.
You should know after how many years you had to say it.
I think about 5.5 years. I was your co-anchor there on the morning show. And so, hey, I want to give a shout out to some of our online people who are following our Twitter posts this morning. We have a new Director of Social Engagement, Ricardo Teodosio. So if you would like to join us on Twitter, if you're one of those people, Eat, Drink, Explore. It's very simple, is the way to follow us. And same for Facebook. You know, facebook.com/Eat, Drink, Explore is our page. Constantly updating things there. In fact, you can even watch the show via the Facebook page. You just click on the Ustream icon that's there.
Right.
The easiest way to follow us is on our website, eatdrinkexplore.com, and then go to the radio section, and we have a social stream that's there. So a hello to Matt Schlitt. He retweeted one of our posts from the morning, and also Marna Baby. Those are their Twitter names. So 1 week from today, Patti Piburn, is Super Bowl Sunday.
I know. Can you believe it?
Now, I realize that we're on the Central Coast, midway between Los Angeles and San Francisco. LA doesn't have a football team as of yet, so I would imagine the vast majority of people living in SLO are siding with the 49ers. But I know
a lot of fans, yeah.
There's a lot of Raider fans on the Central Coast as
a
well.
Mixture.
And so I think you know, as a lifelong 49er fan, when the Raiders get this far and the Niners are just completely out of it, I do pull for them.
You might as well.
They're a California team, you know, and that's pretty much how I fall on all sports. So when it gets to this level,
you go to your backup.
I go to the backup. Exactly. And so anyway, go Niners is all I have to say. Hey, this hour of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio is brought to you by the wonderful people at Eberly Winery in Paso Robles. If you haven't been there, you really need to go today. They're open. They open 1 hour from now at 10 o'clock, and then they're open through 6 with complimentary wine tasting and cave tours. So if you're looking in your wallet and it's a little thin right now, here's a way to spend the day at a beautiful winery with complimentary tours.
Not bad.
Free entertainment, you know. So voted by Wine Spectator, as a matter of fact, as one of the best tours on the Central Coast. So not only is it free, but it's top notch.
It's good stuff.
Eberly Winery is located on Highway 46 East in Paso Robles. You want to learn more? It's easy. Just go to their website, eberlywinery.com, which is EBERLE winery.com. And when you visit, make sure you let them know you heard about it on the Eat, Drink, Explore radio show live on Sunday mornings. Hey, and I believe this coming Thursday now, for real deal.
Okay.
For reals, not for fakes.
Okay.
The Thursday night Market Fresh show will debut here on Crush 92.5.
Woo woo!
And this is a show that it's getting rave reviews, even though it hasn't started on the air on the on the radio yet. We have done 4 weeks now of video only, a website version. It's called Market Fresh because that's exactly what we're talking about. The freshest things from the market 1/2 hour before the market starts. So
plus, just add a chef into the mix and
a chef, a bartender. We'll be featuring a local bartender in the weeks to come who will talk about how you can make market-inspired cocktails.
Love it.
We have the very latest food news from farmers, growers, all sorts of things. And then our reporter down on the scene. Is Nicole Powers, and she talks to local producers and finds out a little extra information for us there. Tells you what the local entertainment will be on the street. So it's 5:30 to 6. The bell rings at 6:15, as we know, for producers, but the food sellers start at 6 o'clock. So join us on the radio here at Crush 92.5 or online at eatdrinkexplore.com. All right, stick around, everyone. We have a great final hour of the show coming up, and that starts in just moments. I'm your host, Randall White. Patti Piburn over there, back in a jiffy. It will be a while before we see the labeling of genetically modified foods, but that doesn't mean you can't be a smart shopper and head to the store armed with knowledge. Our California Love website has a list of local companies producing food right here in California that are GMO-free and, in most cases, organic too. Head to CA, as in California, LUV, as in shorthand for love.com. It's that easy to find our list of local companies with your health in mind. You can also find this list on our Apple and Android smartphone and tablet apps, which are absolutely free in the App Store. Simply search Eat, Drink, Explore and download it to your device. Our California Love website also contains a vegetable and fruit chart so you can more easily buy local produce that's in season. Also, fresh and local recipes from the farmers market. Head there, check it out right now. CALUV.com.
You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network.
Fabulous.
Live every Sunday with the very latest food, beverage, and travel trends.
Amazing.
Now here's the host of our show, Mr. Randall White.
And a very good morning, everyone. 9:06 the time here with the official Eat, Drink, Explore media clock on my computer.
Yes.
And your clock at home probably says the same thing. Nothing special about ours.
But is there a clock at home? A stick of dynamite.
That is what our clocks look like on our computers, because that's how important timing is in radio.
You got to be careful. The whole thing blows up.
The whole thing blows up. The voice you're hearing is Patti Piburn. If you live in Monterey or Santa Cruz counties, or San Luis Obispo or Santa Barbara counties, you see Patti's lovely face each weekday morning, Monday through Friday, on your local CBS affiliates. So if that name sounds familiar, that's why. Great day, everyone. And we want to tease ahead a little bit what's coming up next week on the show. This hour of the program, the 9 o'clock hour.
Have you heard next Sunday is Super Bowl? Have you heard that, Randall?
I think I may have heard a little bit about that. And that is going to be the focus of our second hour. We are helping you at home prepare a very appropriate spread for your friends and family that you'll have over your home for a Super Bowl celebration. And so we will give you drink ideas. You know, Baltimore, San Francisco.
Here's an idea. Drink.
Yeah, there's your idea. San Francisco, Baltimore, and New Orleans all have very rich food and beverage histories.
Right.
And so if you want a little sampling of each at your party so people can sort of get in the mood of each one of those cities, no matter who your team is, we'll be giving you a little bit of everything. And
you know what's cool about the Super Bowl is it's great, obviously, for football fanatics, but also for people who just want the food, just want the social aspect, the commercials. You know, it's just such a combination. It really brings people together beyond a sporting event.
Some people tune in just for the halftime show.
Yeah.
You know? And
there's so many things.
Who is it this year? Beyonce? Beyonce?
Beyonce.
And also I hear Justin Timberlake's going to perform live for the first time in like 6 years
ever.
Or something. Yeah.
He's finally bringing sexy back again.
Will there be lip syncing involved?
I know that was the big question. Was she really singing?
Well, I'm sure it will be a fun Sunday, and we want to make your Sunday really hit it right. You know, so that people say, how did you get the idea to do this? And you'll say, Eat, Drink, Explore Radio had a chef on. Chef Christopher will be joining us from Oakland, but he'll be here in studio. And he's got some great ideas. One of the things is for finger food. I'll let the cat out of the bag a little bit. Muffaletta sandwiches are apparently it's rated the best sandwich in America, and it has its roots in New Orleans. And instead of having a big giant one, he'll explain how to make the little
small finger size
ones. Right, exactly. And so all of the recipes we'll be discussing next week will be posted later this week online, so that you can like shop
right, and then it's ready to go. You're not like working yourself to death while everyone else is enjoying your Super Bowl party.
Exactly. And then you'll have Chris's very unique explanation on how to make these things. He's funny as heck. And so
yes, he is very, very witty.
It will be an entertaining hour, to be sure.
And I just looked up that sandwich, and I have a picture of it right here on my computer. OMG.
Yeah. No, seriously. I might have to skip the whole vegan thing for a day.
Yeah.
It's a holiday, so in fact, I might pose this question to our listeners right now. Do you consider the Super Bowl so big that the Monday following really should be
it should be a holiday?
Because let's face it,
it should be a hangover holiday.
Most of America doesn't really perform too well the next day. So so I'm wondering what you think about that.
Gosh.
You can post your comments on Twitter.com. Or on our Facebook page. In both cases, you can follow us at Eat, Drink, Explore. We do have a new director of social engagement, our Ricardo Teodosio, who's following closely the feeds this morning. So we'll give you a shout out if you include us in your tweet or on your Facebook post. So I should get around to what's coming up this hour of the program. Right after the break, Patti, we will be talking tall ships, which
fun.
They're so majestic, aren't they?
Yes, they're so cool.
And they are heading up the California coast in the weeks to come. They're starting in Ventura, just down from us here, and then they'll make stops along the way, ending up finally in the Bay Area. They're not from California; they're from Washington. And so they make the journey down here for the annual trip. And they do the full-blown, pirate battles.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it is. You know how people love to get into period?
Yeah.
I'm not one of them, but
you can enjoy that.
I can enjoy it, yeah. And so they recreate, I guess, the 1800s, I believe, is what they're doing. And in some cases, those people that do the Civil War
reenactments?
I think they
do they join forces?
Right. They coincide their
there you go.
reenactments with the arrival of these ships.
That's cool.
We'll find out more, though, coming up.
From the experts.
From the experts. And then right after that, we will be talking with a conductor. It's called L.A. Rail. You can check it out online before the interview if you like, larail.com. They have these restored to magnificent status, these 1950s rail cars.
That sounds so intriguing.
They have lounge cars, like bars, on rails. And then they also have these beautiful staterooms where you can...
When are we going?
I know, I want to. And they head all over the state. So no matter where you're listening right now,
There's one heading your way.
And they even have a Valentine's trip that takes you down to San Diego, and you stay overnight. The car parks, and then you stay overnight. But you can go out and have fun on the town.
And your train car just stays there for you.
Your train car is your hotel. And then you head back up. I believe it leaves out of Los Angeles. Yeah, but they do have trips to the Bay Area and through wine country and all sorts of things, and even as far as Louisiana to New Orleans. There's a version of that. So,
I think train sleeping is like cruise sleeping. Best sleep ever.
Oh,
you just get rocked to sleep if you have enough space. Some train cars are not as comfortable.
No,
but that one sounds like it is.
Yeah. Ricardo and I took the Amtrak to Chicago this last summer. Remember that?
Yes.
And we had one of the sleeper cars, and I slept really well,
like a baby.
It might have been the wine we brought, but and then we wrap up California Restaurant Month, which has been our sponsor for the month, San Luis Obispo County Restaurant Month, to be specific, and with a fantastic market fresh recipe for pizza. Really interesting pizza tips for making pizza at home, which I've never done. And this chef
pizza at home is fun.
Pizza at home will be fun when I eventually do it.
After you learn.
After I learn how. The chef's great. We will have him back for sure on our Thursday Market Fresh show, which you can watch online at eatdrinkexplore.com. Just click there on the radio button and you can watch us there. Hello to Dennis Waterbury, who followed us just moments ago on Twitter. Great to have you with us. And Spud Hilton, our previous guest, just sent a little note saying, FYI, best muffaletta sandwich in New Orleans is at Central Grocery on Decatur Street.
I just was reading an article backing that up.
Really?
Yes.
He says, get there before the rush. There's lots of locals, so you want to go early. Spud, thank you so much. That means he's continuing to listen to the show, too. Which I like.
Thank you, Spud.
I like guests that do that. You can follow Spud, by the way, on the Chronicle's website, which is sfgate.com. I don't think I mentioned that during the interview, and I probably should have. So stick around, everyone. Just after the break, we're talking tall ships that are coming to a port near you. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. We're back in a moment. The holidays are now over, but Restaurant Month here in California is just getting started. As January unfolds with a wave of culinary diversity, the hottest place in the state to take it all in is along the Central Coast in San Luis Obispo County. Featured on local menus are ingredients grown on nearby farms, savory seafood caught that day in the Pacific Ocean, and grass-fed beef raised on the county's lush green hillsides, all served with a touch of Western flavor unique to the region. Not only are these offerings among the best in the nation, but these foods are paired with top local wines, craft brews, and outstanding scenery. When considering your 2013 New Year's resolutions, be sure to include an education for your palate, an experience that can only come from visiting the culinary destination that is San Luis Obispo County. Oh, and I'm sure saving money is on your list of resolutions as well. Perfect, because participating restaurants are offering substantial 3-course menus for just $30. This is your opportunity to sample some of the many establishments you've talked about visiting but never have, or revisiting some of your old favorites. And because SLO County is at the heart of Central Coast wine country, a new element is being added this year called Wine Wednesdays. Now, select restaurants will be pairing their menus with a local vintner's selections, and look for other wine-related options as well. San Luis Obispo County's 6th annual Restaurant Month runs January 1st through the 31st, but don't wait until the month is almost over to start enjoying this annual tradition. Don't hesitate. Find the restaurant of your choice and make your reservations now. For more information, head to sanluisobispocounty.com and start planning your next mouth-watering adventure.
Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to decide?
This is Annie Lennox of Eurythmics for RAD. Please don't drink and drive, and don't drive if someone else has been drinking. Thank you.
A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Across the nation, people are stepping up for their mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, partners, sisters, and brothers. They're leading the way and walking to end Alzheimer's, the 6th leading cause of death in the nation. Together, we can reclaim the future. Walk to end Alzheimer's. Start a team. Join a team. Go to alz.org.
For the latest video and information from today's show, head on over to eatdrinkexplore.com. We're constantly updating it with the latest food, beverage, and travel trends. Also, we're launching a new section of the site called California Love. This is where we recommend great companies, and the best part is every single business we feature is locally owned. We've checked them out and are confident you'll love them as much as we do. This is a great tool to have as we head into the holiday shopping season. Since you're already spending money, you might as well support your neighbor. We choose businesses that give back to the community, care about the environment, or use only the freshest local and organic ingredients. They also make their products here, not overseas. Our California Love business recommendation tool is still in the development stages, but will be available very soon at eatdrinkexplore.com. Eat, Drink, Explore Media, your lifestyle information source. All right, a very good Sunday morning to you. Sunday Funday, as we like. Boy, it's going to be a fun day next week, huh?
Yes, it is.
I hope so. That's Patti Piburn. I'm your host, Randall
White. How could it
White.
not be fun?
Yeah, it'll be fun regardless of the outcome. I just get nervous for things like this. We're talking about the Super Bowl, of course. And good day to you, everyone. Whether you're watching the Super Bowl or not, we will be live next week with great Super Bowl tips for you. Mm-hmm. And we're talking specifically about the menu you'll serve at your party. All of it will be listed on our recipe page prior to the show, so you can be prepared to work right along with Chef Christopher as he joins us from Oakland. But he'll be here live in studio. 9:19, as I said, and... tall ships, Patti.
Yes.
are coming to the California coast.
Heading our way.
To a port near you. Starting down in Ventura and working their way up the coastline. We are joined right now by Joe Follansbee. He is with the Grays Harbor Historical Seaport Authority, which is a mouthful, and joins us on the line right now. Hey, Joe.
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
We're doing very well. Thank you. What is the Grays Harbor Historical Seaport Authority?
Well, Grays Harbor Historical Seaport Authority is the nonprofit based in Aberdeen, Washington, that owns the tall ships Lady Washington and Hawaiian Chieftain, which are going to be in Ventura next weekend.
And this is not their first trip. Is this an annual event?
That's correct. For about a little more than 20 years now, Lady Washington has been sailing up and down the West Coast, and she stops every year about this time in Southern California, Ventura, Oxnard, Long Beach, San Pedro. And what we do is offer tall ship education, living history education programs, primarily for K through 12 students, and Boy Scout groups and Girl Scout groups, and senior centers sometimes. And also we offer excursions, 3-hour excursions on these tall ships. And as I was listening to you guys earlier, you mentioned our cannon battles. Would you like to hear about those?
Yeah, we would. I was going to say, what? Give us some of the highlights. So there you go. Cannon battles must be one of the highlights, right?
Do you use real cannons?
We use real cannon. The same thing you see in the movies. And we call them battle sails, and they're by far our most popular activity. And essentially, what the boats do is, as I said, we have two tall ships, Lady Washington and Hawaiian Chieftain, and we load passengers aboard, buy tickets, and they go out sailing. And then we kind of pretend that we're back in the 18th century, and we have a little naval skirmish, and they fire real cannon with real gunpowder, but no cannonballs. So nobody's hurt. We have a great time.
No harm, no foul.
No harm, no foul. But we try to be as close to the real thing as we can, within safety limits. So we do kind of close quarters maneuvers with the ships going around at each other, and you hear the captain and the crew barking orders, and prepare to fire, that kind of stuff. It's great. Everybody has a great time.
So, Joe, I'm wondering. I just realized for people watching online right now, it says Spud Hilton under your face. I apologize for that. I'm going to put your other picture up that does have the correct spelling. Joe, I'm wondering. I would imagine maneuvering a tall ship is somewhat of a lost art. How do you find people that are able to move these ships up and down the coast with such accuracy?
Well, we actually train those people. There's a small but fairly tight-knit tall ship community around the country, and we, along with other vessels on both the West Coast and East Coast and the Great Lakes, we train young people to become tall ship sailors. So Randall, if you wanted to learn how to sail one of these ships, we'll take you aboard for a couple of weeks. We have a program called 2 Weeks Before the Mast, and we'll teach you how to do this.
How cool is that?
How to be a deckhand. So you'll do everything like raise a sail, and you'll learn what all the ropes are called, and you'll also probably, unless you're scared of heights, you'll climb up to the top of the main mast and learn how those 18th century sailors used to do their jobs.
What's that thing called at the top where the person, the lookout
looks like a little
area?
basket, kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, well, usually it's called the masthead, although Lady Washington and Hawaiian Chieftain don't have either of those.
Oh, okay.
But you can climb up there, and you'll be 9 stories off the water.
Whoa.
And you just hold on.
Yeah, I might not be doing that portion of the
not a job for you, Randall.
Come on, Randall, aren't you adventurous?
I am at ground level. So it sounds really fun, though. Now, I noticed in some of the pictures you've shared with us, the crew is all in period dress.
That is correct. We try to be as authentic as possible. So all the crew wear what most people would call them costumes. We call them funnies because we look funny in them. But seriously, we try to recreate the experience as authentically as possible, and we'll use the same techniques, the same commands that you'll hear from the captain and the mate, and for 3 hours you'll be back in the 18th century.
That's amazing.
It really is amazing. And, explain the importance of kind of keeping these traditions alive. Obviously, new technology and other things have come along, but you're still doing it this old-fashioned way. What's important about keeping those traditions going?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. One is that everybody in our organization loves history. We think that, to know history, at least maritime history, in some detail, helps us understand where we are today, how we got where we are. I mean, of course, we're used to cars, we're used to planes, we're used to interstate freeways, but those are very recent developments in the history, even of our country in California. I mean, it used to be that the only way that you could get from place to place, if you wanted to go from L.A. to San Francisco, is by water. Mm-hmm. If you didn't want to spend, 6 weeks on a horse. And so keeping those traditions alive, telling young people about those things is really at the core of what we're about. I mean, we are education-focused, nonprofit. We want to keep these traditions alive. We want people to understand where we came from as far as maritime transportation goes. And so far, we've been very successful and very lucky.
California was mostly settled, I believe, by ships during the gold rush. People weren't necessarily coming by land. They were going around the tip of South America and coming up that way to get to the gold fields.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, in 1849, remember my high school history, the Transcontinental Railroad didn't exist. So you could travel overland, but it would take you 3 months.
Is that all? Whoa. Yeah. And then you might get stuck at like Donner Pass or something, and we know how that turned out.
There you go. That would be a bad thing. So many people, actually most people, before the railroads came into use, would travel by sea around Cape Horn and used, if not exactly the same kinds of ships, certainly the same techniques, the same traditions, and same skills that we use on our tall ships, they used back then.
So, Joe, after Ventura, you hit Morro Bay, and then where do you head from there?
From Morro Bay, we're going to go to San Francisco. We'll be there at the end of February. We'll be there at Pier 40 for a few days. Then we're going to head to Redwood City.
Oh.
Down Silicon Valley way, and we'll be there for a couple of weeks. And some of our stops in the Bay Area that include Oakland and Sausalito. And then from there, we're going to start making our way back up to Washington State.
No stop in Monterey no stop in Monterey or Santa Cruz?
Not this time. Maybe next year, but we're on a tight schedule. We got to head to San Francisco.
Right. Well, Joe Follansbee with the tall ships that are just about to hit the California coast here, you can head to the website. We have a link at eatdrinkexplore.com that will show you all of the different dates and how you can partake, maybe even learn how to become a sailor on one of those ships. Joe, thanks for being on the show with us today. Grays Harbor Historical Seaport Authority.
Great, thanks so much.
All right, everyone, stick around. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. I'm your host, Randall White. We are back in just a moment talking a different form of transportation, trains. Some of California's best restaurants, hotels, and homes are perched on steep hillsides with incredible views. But those buildings weren't just thrown there. They were placed on foundations designed and perfected by experts. Throughout much of the Bay Area, those hillside foundations were placed by S.S. Caveney Construction. With nearly 3 decades of experience dealing with the steepest and most difficult terrain, S.S. Caveney Construction well known for being the go-to company when quality is your number one concern. Hillsides in California, as you know, are prone to drainage issues that can lead to erosion and slippage. S.S. Caveney Construction will solve those problems for you. Get a quote today by contacting the team you need. Head to S.S. Caveney, that's CAVENEY.com, and get your foundation placed correctly the first time.
I'm in almost every school bus and classroom. I go to school with your children. We say the Pledge of Allegiance together. You see me around the neighborhood and you tell me that I'm a pretty good kid. Well, I'm one out of every 5 children in America, and I'm struggling with hunger. This problem is closer than you think. My teacher tells me we can grow up to be whatever we want. I want to grow up to be someone who doesn't go to bed hungry. There's enough food in this country to feed everybody. Please visit feedingamerica.org today and find your local food bank for ways to help. Every dollar you donate helps provide 8 meals for kids like me, quietly struggling with hunger. Together, we are Feeding America, brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hello, this is Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and I want to tell you about my new favorite discovery, Yosemite National Park. I recently went there with my husband and children, and we walked the trails to see the breathtaking waterfalls, admired the grand meadows, and giant sequoias. But the future of our national parks is uncertain. Many challenges face our parks today, from polluted air and water to development threats outside their borders and inadequate funding to protect our national heritage. That's why the National Parks Conservation Association recently completed a decade-long assessment of the challenges facing our national parks, along with proposed actions that will ensure our children and grandchildren will be able to enjoy the parks as we have. Our national parks have inspired Americans for nearly 100 years. As we approach the centennial of the National Park Service in 2016, please join us in helping to protect our national park legacy. Find out how at www.mpca.org.
At the American Lung Association, we're fighting for a day when we can all breathe easier. We're fighting for clear skies over every city, healthy lungs throughout the country. We're fighting to free millions of Americans from the addictive grip of tobacco and the devastating effects of lung disease. The American Lung Association isn't just fighting for air, we're fighting for all the things that make it worth breathing, and we can use your help. See what you can do at fightingforair.org.
This is Betty White. I know you don't need one more thing to worry about, but listen. High blood pressure can cause kidney damage, blindness, heart attack, stroke, and you can have high blood pressure even if you feel all right. 1 in 7 adults has it, but it's easy to get your blood pressure checked, and you can treat it if it is too high. So don't worry about it, don't ignore it, just see your doctor and check it out.
For your free booklet, visit the Will Rogers Institute at wrinstitute.org and find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. Here now is your fabulous host, Mr. Randall White.
And a very good morning, everyone. 9:33 now the time here on the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. Great to have you with us. I am Randall White, as Monica just announced there, joined by Patti Piburn.
Good morning, everyone.
So I love rail travel. It is my preferred form of getting around long distance, for sure.
I find it relaxing. I like the rocking and the movement and the sights out the window.
Now, in terms of taking trips, I've only ridden via Amtrak. I didn't know there was another option,
right?
Other than
I'm
Amtrak.
with you on that.
You know, there are little regional railways, like the Skunk train up in Mendocino County it's just a sightseeing train. You know, they do have things like that. We had the guest on the show from Telluride that was talking about one of the trains that they have there, a steam locomotive, I believe it is. But something caught my eye. I believe it was via Twitter. For this organization called LA Rail, and they have these restored 1950s rail cars, everything from the dining and lounge cars to the sleeper
It sounds
units.
amazing.
And they're absolutely beautiful. And so this segment of the show opened up for us yesterday, and I thought, you know what? I've been wanting to have them on the show. I'm going to give them a ring, and I was very lucky to get Bill Hattrick. He's a conductor for LA Rail who agreed to come on at extremely short notice. Bill, thanks for joining us this morning.
Well, good morning, Randall and Patty. It's great to be here.
I love the cars. How did this all come about? And then I really need to find out how you do this. Like,
right?
how you hook up to the different trains to pull these cars around the state. But let's start with how it began.
Well, LARail.com is made up of 5 family owners. For example, myself and my wife, Deb, we've owned our car for a quarter of a century.
Wow.
And we've bought it as a fixer-upper and spent the first 7 years or so restoring it, and then it became Amtrak certifiable. In other words, we've done everything to it so that Amtrak would pull it for us.
Oh.
And then just about 4 years ago or so, LA Rail was formed when a number of us got together and said, hey, it's tough being a lone wolf out there trying to operate your car. Why don't we join forces? And so we did. So there's 5 of us that make up LARail.com, and we basically love train travel, and we love the idea of owning and operating a vintage car.
I just find that how does one end up with a vintage car?
Right. Exactly.
Well, I've got this vintage car,
Most of our cars are Amtrak cast-offs, but they were originally built for the railroads before Amtrak took over in 1971. My car, for example, the Overland Trail, was built in 1949 for the Southern Pacific.
Oh, okay.
And it served SP for most of its career and then finished a decade with Amtrak through the 70s until it was retired. And basically cast adrift and waiting for the scrap line until we stumbled upon it.
Well, I'm glad you did, because I want to apologize to our online viewers right now. Because of the short notice, I did not get a chance this morning to put pictures of
pictures of it
the cars. But do yourself a favor.
Look them up. Are they really cool?
Yeah, it's the easy web address. It's LARail.com, and take a look at how incredibly stunning these cars are. I can't imagine this was an inexpensive endeavor, Bill.
Well, it was expensive, but we were able to control costs by doing most everything ourselves. Deb and I are somewhat talented, I suppose, and went to upholstery school to learn how to upholster, to do all that work.
Do-it-yourselfers.
Yes, absolutely. We put down the carpet, we did the painting, yes, everything in-house.
I love it.
Wow. Okay, so I'm looking at your site. Like Randall said, look it up. LARail.com. Beautiful. So describe what it's like if you take this trip. What are the amenities? What do you get?
Well, you really hit on it, Patty, in your opening comment there. It's the movement of the train, the scenery outside the windows, just it all adds up to something that is so incredible. I love train travel myself, and I'm always on the train wondering what's around the next corner, next curve, that is, and the excitement of departure is my favorite time, the hustle and bustle of baggage and kisses goodbye, and I just love travel, and especially train travel. On board, LARail.com provides a service reminiscent of the old days with waiters and waitresses on board to take care of customers' needs and so forth. There's always good food being served and beverages, and again, you can't hammer home too often the scenery through those big windows is always fascinating, and I'm always, like I said, wondering what's around the next curve.
Bill, you can hear the passion in your voice.
Yes.
And it comes through via the website, and I imagine the excursions are equally as powerful. Now, you have everything from short trips, like, say, L.A. to San Diego, from that all the way up to cross-country trips.
Yes, indeed. Our day trips based out of L.A., we go to San Diego, we go to Santa Barbara. Our long trips can go just about anywhere, and we put together packages for folks every year. Some of our past trips have been to the Pacific Northwest, visiting Portland, Spokane, Seattle, and even the big park up that way.
Olympic?
Nope.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I can't think of it, but Whitefish is the portal to...
Yellowstone?
No. I'm sorry, but anyway.
Sounds like.
That's okay.
Well, we've been to the East Coast, Boston.
Glacier.
And so on and so forth.
Is it Glacier?
Glacier, that was
there we go. Yay, Randall. So far, I'm looking at the picture. Silver Splendor is my favorite. It has some really cool window features, although they all look really cool.
Now, I've stayed in a very cramped Amtrak, what do you call those, roomettes before. It can be comfortable, but your sleeper cars seem to go a little extra step.
A little bit. The traditional accommodations that Pullman sold through the 40s and 50s, the roomette and the double bedroom are the bulk of our accommodations, although one of our cars does feature open sections. And if you remember the Lucy show, the great train robbery,
yes.
when she keeps pulling the conductor's cord there, that's what I'm talking about, the heavy curtains and so forth. One of our cars to Salisbury Beach has open sections. And so we have a nice array of accommodations. And as you alluded to, they're just a little bit nicer and more traditional than the Amtrak accommodation today.
I saw a picture of one of your dining cars, and the picture looks like it's taken in someone's kitchen, somebody's.
I saw that one. It's like the countertops look just like home.
Right. That's some of the work that you did, or that was one of the other families involved.
It sounds like it may have been the Silver Splendor, which is our dome diner, and as Patti mentioned, it has that special glass, the dome on top of the car that is fabulous. You just can't beat that view, enjoying a nice meal while you're traveling around under this dome. It's incredible.
And so talk about what's your next excursion? What's the next one coming up?
Our very next excursion is probably one of our local trips, maybe our Santa Barbara Vino train or our Luncheon by the Sea.
Ooh, I like the Vino train.
Yeah.
That's one of our favorites.
Count me in.
Our next big trip is our Southern Comfort trip, and that's going to be going to New Orleans, Washington, and then dipping down to Miami.
Whoa. Now, how do you get the rights to hook on to some of these? What do you use, like Union Pacific or Amtrak? How do you get these around?
Amtrak is 99% of our work. There are some special trains on occasion, but normally Amtrak's regular trains pull us. They have a department that handles it. They love our business, and they're if they can do the trip, they will make it happen. You know, we put in a request to do this, and that, and if they can do it, they'll do it.
Wow.
And so we can switch trains and go here and there, hooked up to the end of a regularly scheduled Amtrak train.
Can you imagine riding in coach on Amtrak and at one of the stops getting out and seeing this other car?
This luxury car. And
you're like, wait a minute.
That happens all the time.
I bet it does.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
How young were you when this passion for trains began, Bill?
Well, my grandpa was a railroader, and he instilled a love of trains in me. He even built a 2-inch scale railroad around the house. That's big enough to ride on. So you can see I had no choice but to fall in love with trains. But through junior high was really when I got a real severe fascination with trains, and especially passenger trains. A friend of mine introduced me to the local Amtrak trains running between L.A. and San Diego, and once I was on a train as a young adult, I was smitten.
My fascination with trains began with trips up to Lake Tahoe from the Bay Area where I lived, and along that route, along 80, you go under a trestle at one point, and we would always, as kids, we wanted to see if a train was going over at that point.
At the same time,
And then as you get in the Donner Pass area, you can look across this deep valley, and the train hugs the side, and they have these avalanche guards that are up.
Those are called snow sheds.
Snow sheds, okay.
Yes.
That's where my fascination began, watching all that.
Right. So cool. And you get to see parts of the country you don't get to see any other way if you're not on a train. Yeah. So what's the ballpark cost for one of these trips?
It varies, but the day trips, the ballpark could be, say, $150 for a day trip, and generally that would include food and beverage.
Wow.
The long hauls, when you involve a private sleeping car, the prices do get a little steep. They can be... say our Pacific Northwest trip, L.A. to Portland, Seattle, and maybe Glacier Park, could be in the $2,000 range. per person.
That's not that bad, really.
In this case, it's not the destination. It definitely is the journey.
Oh,
sure.
absolutely.
Hey, Bill, we're going to have to wrap it up there. Bill Patrick with larail.com. Check it out. Do yourself a favor. Beautiful pictures, and I'm sure it'll be a fun experience if you take advantage of it. Thank you, Bill, for the last-minute guest appearance.
Thank you, Randall, Patty. Thank you very much.
Back in a moment. The holidays are now over, but Restaurant Month here in California is just getting started as January unfolds with a wave of culinary diversity. The hottest place in the state to take it all in is along the Central Coast in San Luis Obispo County. Featured on local menus are ingredients grown on nearby farms, savory seafood caught that day in the Pacific Ocean, and grass-fed beef raised on the county's lush green hillsides, all served with a touch of Western flavor unique to the region. Not only are these offerings among the best in the nation, but these foods are paired with top local wines, craft brews, and outstanding scenery. When considering your 2013 New Year's resolutions, be sure to include an education for your palate, an experience that can only come from visiting the culinary destination that is San Luis Obispo County. Oh, and I'm sure saving money is on your list of resolutions as well. Perfect, because participating restaurants are offering substantial 3-course menus for just $30. This is your opportunity to sample some of the many establishments you've talked about visiting but never have, or revisiting some of your old favorites. And because SLO County is at the heart of Central Coast wine country, a new element is being added this year called Wine Wednesdays. Now, select restaurants will be pairing their menus with a local vintner's selections, and look for other wine-related options as well. San Luis Obispo County's 6th annual Restaurant Month runs January 1st through the 31st, but don't wait until the month is almost over to start enjoying this annual tradition. Don't hesitate. Find the restaurant of your choice and make your reservations now. For more information, head to sanluisobispocounty.com and start planning your next mouth-watering adventure.
Hi, this is Rick Moranis. You know, some people are more careful about what they feed their cars than what they feed their bodies. They know that the wrong fuel can hurt a car's performance and maybe ruin the engine. But the wrong food can have the same effect on your health. Too much fat, too many calories, and too little of what's good for you can affect how well you feel and even lead to serious illness. So eat right. It'll help you keep running smooth.
For more information, visit the Will Rogers Institute at wrinstitute.org or call toll-free 877-957-7575 and find us on Facebook and Twitter. Wayne Brady for the Will Rogers Institute.
Hey folks, I've got something that will truly revolutionize your life. It's called exercise. It will get you from here to there, allow you to spend time with your family and meet new people, cut inches from your waistline, and improve the quality of your life. Even help improve your self-image. Sexy. So when you've got to choose between moving around or lying on the couch, choose exercise. You won't be sorry.
For your free booklet, visit wrinstitute.org or call toll-free 877-957-7575 and find us on Facebook and Twitter.
For the latest video and information from today's show, head on over to eatdrinkexplore.com. We're constantly updating it with the latest food, beverage, and travel trends. Also, we're launching a new section of the site called California Love. This is where we recommend great companies, and the best part is every single business we feature is locally owned. We've checked them out and are confident you'll love them as much as we do. This is a great tool to have as we head into the holiday shopping season. Since you're already spending money, you might as well support your neighbor. We choose businesses that give back to the community, care about the environment, or use only the freshest local and organic ingredients. They also make their products here, not overseas. Our California Love business recommendation tool is still in the development stages, but will be available very soon at eatdrinkexplore.com. Eat Drink Explore Media, your lifestyle information source. Back to the program. Can I start that all over again? Well, welcome back to the program, everyone. Great to have you with us on this Sunday morning. 9:49 the time as I reposition myself here. Our director of social engagement, Ricardo, is moving behind me here. Just got back from the little boys' room. Hey, my dad gave me a call during the commercial break.
Yeah.
I did not realize that my great-grandfather great grandpa White was a conductor on a train.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, had routes from the Bay Area out to Salt Lake City, and even had one that went into Yosemite Valley, which is
Very
really cool. So no wonder I had it in my blood.
Yes.
I didn't realize. Okay, so this Thursday, you may have missed it. Our Market Fresh show featured a farmers market pizza that you really want to listen to this because great tips for making pizza at home. And so this is a little pre-recorded segment. It's not too long, but we think you'll enjoy it. So here we go, Patty. But today we are joined by Chef Jason from Rooster Creek, and he put together a little pizza, farmer's market pizza for us, a recipe to share tonight. And welcome to the program, Chef Jason.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Yeah, and so when did you move to the Central Coast? How long have you been here now?
Just about 3 years, 2.5, 3 years. Moved here, yep.
Easy to settle in?
Yeah. It's been great. Yeah, it's been really great.
And Rooster Creek is new to town also.
Yeah, we've been open just a little over a year in downtown in the Village in Rio Grande. It's been great. It's been a really great reception. People have been amazing.
It's really a nice atmosphere.
Yeah, it's really become a really cool place to be. It's really exciting to be a part of it.
I like the fact that you offer a lot of different, like just standard tavern food, or then throw in the Central Coast freshness twist on things as well.
Right. I mean, you pretty much have an unlimited amount of ingredients that you can use depending on the season, and it's really great. You can pretty much do what you want and still have sustainable, fresh agriculture at your disposal.
Now you grew up in Philly, and you know what it's like when you get that drought all of a sudden of fresh vegetables. You're getting stuff from California and from South America and Mexico.
Wondering what it's like out there, how beautiful it must be.
You must feel spoiled now living in a place where it is So do you go out there and take advantage of it? Do you develop menu items?
Yeah. I like to get out. I like to talk to farmers. I like to talk to small farmers, bigger farmers. I like to develop relationships with my purveyors, and yeah, it's really great to get out. And it's like I said, it's so nice to be surrounded by the area where the produce that you grew up lusting after. now it's like my backyard. It's really great.
Right. So let's talk about this farmers market pizza, and I should let people know that it is available. The recipe that Chef Jason will be sharing is available online at eatdrinkexplore.com. It's right there at the top of the recipe section. If you can't find it, there's a map. You can go to Arroyo Grande and click on the little icon there that shows you how to find it. And if for some reason you just get completely lost, go to the search thing and just type in pizza. It'll be one of the few recipes that pops up. But this one sounds good. I personally don't eat a lot of cream-based ones, but with the cream-based sauce instead of the red sauce. But when I was looking at all the ingredients, I thought I might have to try this one out for myself.
Yeah, this one is definitely just to utilize the local ingredients. It's one that's available. We change it all the time. We shop it at the local farmers markets. The one in Arroyo Grande happens every Saturday morning right outside our back door. So it's and then we shop this one here in downtown SLO as well. And yeah, it's just it's a simple white cream sauce. You're just reducing down some heavy cream and some Romano cheese. Letting that cool down. You're going to spread that on your dough. We do make our own dough at the restaurant. I suggest making your own dough. It's very easy. It's very simple. There's recipes all over the place for it.
You can just do a Google search for pizza dough, right?
I mean, you can use frozen dough if you don't have the time, but I've never tried it, so I don't know. Don't blame me if it doesn't come out right.
So what size for a 12-inch pizza? What size dough?
You're looking for about a 9 to 10 ounce piece of dough for a 12-inch pizza, depending on how thick or thin you like your crust. I mean, obviously you can go a little over. You can go 11, 12 ounces if you want that nice, thick, chewy crust. Or you can go less if you know what you're doing. You can stretch it pretty thin and not get any tears in it. That's pretty much what you're looking to avoid is any kind of tears in the dough when you start mounting them.
And so you stretch it out and you have a little bit of flour on that pizza paddle, right?
You got to have some flour down the bottom there so it'll slide off real nicely onto your pizza stone.
You could use a big cutting board.
Use a big cutting board. You can use a big piece of plywood. Anything that's got a semi-smooth surface on it that you can dust with flour. The pizza dough will come right off of there, no problem at all.
And pizza stones are available everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah, they're really inexpensive. I mean, obviously there are very expensive ones, but they're pretty. You can get a pretty decent one for a decent price. And if you want to make pizza, it's really the only way to go. It's the only way to do it right.
Let's talk about the key toppings you have. Spinach, which I saw at the market just last week, and then leeks are everywhere.
Leeks are everywhere right now. They're beautiful. They're so good. They're good in everything. They're ending up in everything in the restaurant right now. Every special I make, everything that doesn't have leeks leaks in the summer, has leaks in it amazingly now.
I think I'm going to have to go then because I love leeks.
With garnishing with the fried leek tops, everything's, it's all about leeks right now. I mean, Central Coast does have its season, so it does cool down a little bit. Some things become less available or less desirable.
Right.
But like I said, there's never a time when you can't get something amazing, at the farmers markets around here.
So you put the cream sauce together, you spread that over the top.
Just let it cool down a little bit so it's not hot when it goes on the raw dough. But you spread that out. You just lay your cheeses out. You can put your toppings down first and put the cheese on top of that, or vice versa. It's really up to you, depending on how you like your pizza. Some people like their toppings kind of cemented in there by the cheese, and some people like them up on top. They get a little more, dried out.
Looking at the picture here, it looks like the spinach was sweated out a little.
The spinach was sweated out a little, yep, as the recipe states. It's just wilted a little bit, and then just the excess liquid just drained off. The thing you want to avoid the most, obviously, with dough and bread is liquid. You don't want a lot of liquid on there, else it just turns it into a soggy mess with the melted cheese and stuff.
And then how long we are talking about in the oven here?
It really depends on how hot you can get your oven. I mean, if you can get your oven up to 650, you get that pizza stone heated up, you're looking at about a 7-minute to 10-minute cook time.
And nice and crispy with that heat, right?
Yeah. If you can only get your oven up to 525, 550, you're gonna have to go a little bit longer until your edges are brown.
Well, Chef Jason with Rooster Creek, I got to tell you that pizza looks delicious, and you do red sauce pizzas there as well, right?
We do them all. Yep, I come from the East Coast, the capital of pizza.
Yeah, you do. Well, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you coming in.
Great.
All right, there you go. There's Chef Jason, a fantastic guest. We'll have him back time and time again. And like I said, there you can get the recipe online in our recipe section, eatdrinkexplore.com. Just click on recipes, and there's a really easy search tool there as well. We continue to add to them, and all of these recipes, just about everything we have listed on there, comes from a certified chef. So they are chef-inspired recipes, and we try to feature recipes that deal with ingredients that you get here in California at your local farmers market, which is pretty cool. I want to say a hello to Lisa Bartlein. She joined us on Facebook during the last commercial break. Also, Kylie Robertson and India Lee. If you're watching right now from London, a big hello to you. She sent me an email overnight, which would have been their morning, I guess. I don't know. But what was about 8 hours difference? Patty, you just were there.
That sounds about right, yeah.
She's trying some of the cheese recipes that we featured last week. She's a vegan
I'm jealous.
that lives there in London and says the sharp cheddar is aging as she writes the email.
I'm so envious.
So, India Lee, thank you for the note. I very much appreciate that. We invite you, anyone listening right now, to join us on Facebook or Twitter. We'll give you a shout out here on the air. Thank you to our staff today. Nicole Powers, pinch hitting at the producer desk, taking all the calls. Ricardo Teodosio, our director of social engagement. Patti Piburn, of course, my co-host, and Anthony Renaro, who just runs the entire ship. I'm your host, Randall White. We'll catch you next week. Super Bowl Sunday.
You've been listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio program. If you missed any of our segments today, look for them online or through our free Apple and Android apps. Catch you back right here next week.